Hey YouTube, I'm Electric03 and today I'm going to be doing a countdown on my top 10 video game soundtracks. My dream job in the future is actually to make music for video games, so I thought this list seemed like a fitting and fun idea to do. It doesn't matter whether the game has an original soundtrack or whether the songs come from somewhere else, if it's part of the soundtrack, it's allowed. Please note that I love so many games, so it's difficult to create a list like this. Take everything what I say somewhat with a grain of salt. Anyway, you know what we're getting into, so let's get started. Number 10, Geometry Dash / The Impossible Game. First of all, don't hate me for putting two games in the same spot, but to be fair, they are very similar games and aren't very large or popular anyway. The soundtracks in both Geometry Dash and The Impossible Game are just phenomenal. If you are a fan of EDM music like myself, then you can easily agree that these games have awesome soundtracks, despite what you think of the games themselves. Just have a listen. Number 9, Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn. Final Fantasy XIV: Realm Reborn is pretty much the only MMO game I have actually enjoyed playing. While it does have the annoying grinding aspects of normal MMOs, it was still a very fun experience, and what better than an amazing, atmospherically fitting soundtrack to fit in with that. The soundtrack in this game is so nice to listen to, so catchy, and most of all, extremely fitting to the gameplay. Number 8, Shovel Knight. Shovel Knight is an amazingly innovative experience, and it has an expertly crafted soundtrack that will take you back a few decades to when soundtracks were 8 and 16-bit styled. The music really brings the already amazing experience to life, and if you are a fan of chiptune, you could easily listen to this game's soundtrack on its own and still feel motivated by it. Number 7, Pikmin. This is another amazing game franchise with a fantastic soundtrack that fits perfectly to the game it's in. It adds so much atmosphere and emotion to each area of the game that I definitely believe it deserves a spot on this list. Number 6, Ty the Tasmanian Tiger. This game is great and extremely underrated, but it's not just the game that's underrated, its amazing soundtrack also deserves a listen as it fits so well with the Australian/Tasmanian vibe, using bongos, didgeridoos and many more fun instruments. Number 5, Shadow of the Colossus. I watched my brother play this game and I have to say it's truly a masterpiece, and its orchestral soundtrack definitely helps to add the emotion and the truly epic vibe the game already gives off from its gameplay. The music sometimes goes as far to give me chills. Number 4, Animal Crossing. This series has another amazing, fitting and catchy soundtrack. It's just so nice to casually listen to as you walk across your town, watering flowers, speaking to villagers, fishing, etc. And I love how it has a different melody for each hour of the day, and each melody seems to fit with the usual mood you'd get at that time of the day. Late at night music tends to be calm and mysterious, as for middle of the day music tends to be quite outgoing and energetic, very creative. Number 3, Pokemon. This series has such an amazing soundtrack, and while my choice is partially fueled by nostalgia, I don't really care as it's my list. Pokemon is known for its iconic battle music and general melodies really. Each song gives you just the right amount of effect to give you an idea of your situation, and it's so varied, which is fantastic. Number 2, LittleBigPlanet. While this game doesn't have its own original soundtrack, so to say, it still has excellent and extremely varied music choice which surprisingly fits very well. Not to mention the nostalgic elements of all these songs, or at least the nostalgic elements for me. Either way, it has an undeniably memorable and great soundtrack. Number 1, Super Mario Galaxy. I had to put this game as number 1 simply because it just does everything right. Completely original soundtrack? Check. Fits outstandingly well with the game and is atmospheric? Check. Is catchy and can be listened to without the game and context and is still amazing? Check. Is varied in its style and genres? All check. I cannot think of one bad song in this game. The soundtrack is expertly crafted, and with all that in mind, it has to be my number 1 pick. So that's my top 10 favourite video game soundtracks. My opinion may vary in the future as this is an extremely difficult list to create, but whatever, it was still a very fun list to make, and comment anything you want down below. If you have a list to tell me, I'd love to know. So yeah, leave a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you want to, and I will see you all later. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.